What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here, coming at you with my review of the Boost Mobile Celero 5G Plus. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, the Celero 5G Plus is an exclusive phone to Boost Mobile. This device was launched in January of 2023, and I'm looking forward to showing you everything that there is to know about this phone here in this video. Now, for your convenience, I will be leaving a link in the video description to this device, and definitely take a look as various promotions and deals do tend to change as time goes on, but at least as of now, this device is being offered for only $99. Which is quite a price decrease from its MSRP of $289. And as we get further into the video, I'll elaborate more on why this phone's an excellent value, but we're getting a ton of awesome features here, despite this phone being extremely affordable. But before we get too far into things here, with the Boost Mobile Celero 5G Plus, let's see what all comes included in the box. So here's the box, and you can see it's actually a pretty large box. We have a picture of the phone up front here, as well as the name of the device. But included is a SIM card removal tool, a 15-watt USB wall adapter, and we're also getting a USB-C cable for charging and data transfer. Now with this device, we're getting a very large 7-inch display. Now this display is PLS LCD, and it does feature a 120Hz refresh rate. So a really fast and smooth premium refresh rate here with the phone, and this really does make the phone feel a lot more expensive than it even is. Now I remember it wasn't too long ago that to find a fast refresh rate like this, you need to go for a much more expensive flagship device, pretty much a phone in the $1,000 range. But then as time went on, we started to see phones in lower price tiers have a faster 90Hz refresh rate, but the fact that we're getting a 120Hz refresh rate for a phone in this segment is very impressive. But then from there, things do get even better. This display is 1080p, so it's very crisp and clear. We're getting a PPI of 384, and we're getting a 20.5:9 aspect ratio. So a more narrow but taller form factor here with the phone, which does make this device ideal for the way that people use their smartphones nowadays. Now previously, when smartphones first caught on, people still used their devices primarily for phone calls and text messages, and for doing other things like social media and watching video content. That was kind of more of an afterthought, but now in 2023, people are using their phones for media consumption more than ever before. And due to that, it's very important to have a phone with a large display and also a display that looks very nice. So again, despite this phone being very affordable, we're getting an excellent display here that's ideal for content consumption. Now the only downside with the display is that it is a little bit on the darker side, but of course there do have to be some compromises for a phone that is a budget device. Now up top here on the phone, we do have a hole punch for the front-facing camera, and I'll be showing you later on in the video a variety of different photo and video samples from all the various cameras here on the phone, but the front camera is 16 megapixels. But overall, we have pretty small bezels all throughout here in the front panel, with a little bit of a thicker bottom bezel. But in general, this phone is a really awesome design. Now internally with this device, we're getting 128 gigabytes of storage, along with micro SD card expansion. So that's definitely a very generous amount of storage, and I think for most people, that will certainly be plenty. So if you are someone who's a bit frustrated with your current phone filling up very fast, as far as the storage goes, then just know that if you do upgrade to the Celero 5G Plus, then you'll have quite a bit of a storage upgrade. Now, in addition to that, this phone does support micro SD card expansion, so if you do want to offload some photos and videos to clear up the internal storage, then you can always add in that SD card. Now, another awesome surprise here with the device is that it actually features wireless charging. Now, wireless charging is typically something that you don't even find with mid-range phones in the $500 range, so the fact that this phone, even at a fraction of the price of a mid-ranger, has wireless charging is really impressive. Now I know for me at least, I tend to use wireless charging quite a bit with any device that does support it. I have wireless chargers all throughout my home. I have one in my kitchen, one in my bedroom, another one in my office. So whenever I use a phone that supports wireless charging, I do find myself actually using it quite a bit. Another benefit of wireless charging is that if your charging port were to get damaged for some reason, then at least you have an alternative method to recharge the phone. Now moving on, this phone does have a fingerprint sensor on the power button, and it's very convenient and fast and responsive. Let's try that one more time. So that works very well, so definitely a big fan of that placement as well. Very convenient having it right there. And in addition to that, this phone does support Face Unlock. So I do appreciate that we have multiple methods for accessing the device. Now taking a look at the back of the phone, we have a triple camera setup with a 50 megapixel main camera, a 5 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, and a 2 megapixel depth sensing camera to assist with portrait mode. Now, one thing to keep in mind though is that this phone only has portrait mode for the rear camera and no front facing portrait mode. Now here's how things look on the camera app. This is with the main rear camera right now. Now keep in mind though that if you want to take photos in the full 50 megapixels, it doesn't actually do that by default. Instead, you need to go over to the More tab, and then from there, you can access the 50 megapixel mode. But this phone does have very nice cameras, and you'll definitely be impressed by the results. Overall, things are really crisp and clear, and I'll be showing you some more samples in a little bit. But then from here, to get to the ultra wide angle camera, you can go to the 0.5 option, and you can see that you can fit a lot more content into the frame. I'm definitely a big fan of the ultra-wide camera. Then to get to portrait mode, you go over to live focus, and then you even get a blur slider so you can adjust the amount of blur. So if you want less blur, you can do that, or more blur. But unfortunately, as I mentioned a second ago, there is no portrait mode for the front-facing camera. Now we can get to the front-facing camera by going to the standard photo mode and then flipping around here. And this phone does take some pretty decent selfies, but typically from this point, you can just go to live focus or portrait mode or whatever they're calling it on the device you're using, and then you can use that feature with the front camera. But you can see in this situation, if I tap on live focus, it flips around back to the rear camera. So if you are someone that does like to take a lot of portrait selfies, then I can certainly see that being a bit of a deal breaker for you here with this phone. And with this device, we do get 1080p video recording with both the front and rear cameras, so that is nice if you do want to take high quality video. Now I've been very impressed with the camera quality from the Boost Mobile Celero 5G Plus. I'll definitely let these photo samples speak for themselves, but overall, I think that the results are certainly very good for a phone in this segment. Now for a device that sells at $99, you certainly shouldn't expect the quality to be anywhere near what you'd find with a $1,000 smartphone, but for what this phone is, I think the quality is very good. So if you're someone that wants to use your device to capture images while on vacation, for example, maybe to save those memories, or maybe you're at a family reunion, and then you want to put all those photos on social media, then the quality that we're getting here is more than good enough for that purpose. But let's take a look at some video samples from the Boost Mobile Celero 5G Plus. What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here coming at you with a 1080p front-facing test video from the Boost Mobile Celero 5G Plus. Definitely curious to know what you think about the video and audio quality. And here's a 1080p test video using the main rear camera with the Boost Mobile Celero 5G Plus. And we do have very quick autofocus in video mode, which is great. And here's a test video using the ultra wide angle camera on the Boost Mobile Celero 5G Plus. Now internally, with the Boost Mobile Celero 5G Plus, we're getting 6 gigabytes of RAM paired up with the Qualcomm Snapdragon 695 5G processor. Now, as the name of that processor and the phone itself implies, this device is compatible with 5G connectivity. Now, at this point in 2023, I do think you can get by with just 4G LTE, but at the same time, if you're going to go through all the time and effort of buying a brand new smartphone, you may as well get one that does support your carrier's latest and greatest network. But beyond that, I've actually been very impressed with the performance here of the phone. Now, that 120Hz refresh rate gets plenty of power from the processor, so things run very smoothly, and that feature is very well supported. But even in addition to that, just doing general tasks here in the phone does run very smoothly. Now, of course, compared to a much more expensive smartphone, things won't run nearly as quickly, but for what you're paying here, this phone's actually a lot faster than what I would be expecting typically. So if you are someone that likes to do a lot of phone calls, text messages, go on social media, watch video content, browse the web, then this phone will be plenty fast for you. It's really just if you're doing more demanding tasks with the device, such as running multiple apps at the same time, where you might notice some frustrations. And in addition to that, I wouldn't recommend really getting this phone as your work phone, because if you're using your phone for your business, implying that you're pretty much on it all day, I do think you might notice some slowdowns related to the processor. Now, I did run a benchmark test using Geekbench 6, and here are the scores that I got from that test. So I got a single core score of 898, and a multi-core score of 1673. So what I recommend doing is running this benchmark test on your current phone and then compare your scores to these scores to get a better idea of how the Boost Mobile Celero 5G Plus compares. And definitely if these scores are a lot less than your current device, then it's most likely that this phone would be a performance downgrade for you. And that's probably not what you're looking for. Now with the Boost Mobile Celero 5G Plus, we're getting a very large 5,000 mAh internal battery combined with 15-watt fast charging. So it is nice that we are getting a 15-watt fast charger in the box. That's certainly very helpful and convenient, and one less thing that you do have to buy. But in addition to that, I am glad that fast charging is supported here, because with that really large battery, you'll certainly want to recharge it pretty quickly, otherwise it would take a very long time to recharge the phone. Now what's great though is that with that large battery, you should certainly expect a full day, if not multiple days of usage on a single charge with this phone. Now as far as the software goes, we're getting Android 12 here, and it's a mostly stock version of the software. So if you are looking for a more sophisticated version of Android, maybe with a lot of extra bonus features, then you might want to look elsewhere, such as a phone from Samsung, as they tend to add a lot of different extra abilities and various things to the software. But with this phone, you're pretty much getting the core fundamentals of Android. But for most people, that's plenty, and I know a lot of people do like things to be a bit more simplistic. So in that sense, I'm really happy here with the software. Now, will this phone be updated to Android 13 or Android 14 in the future? I honestly have no idea. I would be a bit skeptical that the phone would get that upgrade, so if you are someone who is excited for newer versions of Android as they are released to make their way over to your smartphone, then I would probably avoid getting this device. But on the other hand, if you're happy with the phone working the same way as it does out of the box initially for a long period of time, and you're not expecting new software upgrades in the future, then this phone probably will be adequate for you in that regard. Another awesome thing too about the Boost Mobile Celero 5G Plus is that it does support NFC. Now NFC is the technology used for mobile contactless payments to do things such as tap and pay, and that's a feature that I use quite a bit with any device that does support it. And especially now in 2023, that's a very popular feature with most payment terminals supporting it. The name of the phone does imply this device is the successor to last year's G-Stylus 2020. So as mentioned earlier on in this video, the Celero 5G Plus is an excellent phone for watching video content. As you probably noticed, things do get very immersive on this very large 7-inch display. But in addition to that, colors look great, and also with the display being 1080p, everything is very crisp. Now one downside though with this device is that there is no stereo audio. You're only getting audio out of the main speaker on the bottom of the phone, so just know that. But on a more positive note, the actual quality from that speaker is pretty good. So if you do want to sit back, relax, and watch video content or listen to music here on the device, then I do think you will be very happy with it. But let's now take a closer look at the hardware of the Celero 5G Plus. Now I already talked quite a bit about the front panel here of the display. Overall, pretty small bezels all throughout, with that hole punch for the front-facing camera. Now this phone is made completely of plastic, besides the display which is glass, so just know that, and I do recommend pairing this phone up with some sort of case so it doesn't get scratched up as time goes on. Now I am a big fan though of this material on the back of the device. It's kind of like a frosted finish, and it doesn't really pick up too many fingerprints, especially compared to phones that have a glossy back. Now on the left side of the device, we have the slot for the microSD card and SIM card. Then on the right side, volume up, volume down, and also the power button, which doubles as the fingerprint sensor. Then up top here with the noise canceling microphone, and then on the bottom of the phone, the 3.5mm headphone jack, microphone, USB-C port for charging and data transfer, and the speaker. So it is very nice that we are getting that traditional headphone jack, as I know that many people do still like using their wired headphones, so in this situation, you won't need an adapter. And then on the back of the phone, we have the camera module, Celero Plus 5G right there, and that's pretty much it. So in conclusion, I think there's a lot of things to like about the Boost Mobile Celero 5G Plus. Overall, this phone packs in a lot of value, especially for the price, and especially if you happen to get it when there's a promotion going on. So definitely take a look at the link in the video description to see what this phone's currently being offered at. But overall, if you decide to get the Boost Mobile Celero 5G Plus, I think you're going to be very happy. But most importantly, let me know in the comment section below what you think about this phone. Do you like it, or do you wish that there were some things different about it? Certainly, let me know. But this is Kevin here. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care and have a great rest of your day.